Hey Stampers, how are you doing? Welcome to day 2 of my June summer camp. I don't know if this is like super flowery or not, or summer, but I like it. It's kind of like the Alanis Morissette theme song for crafters, I guess. I have this Tailored Expressions stamp set, and we're going to use this sentiment here. I want to make beautiful things even if nobody cares. I love that. And I was going to use that, but knitting kind of reminds me of winter. I don't do that. I don't need another hobby. So I am just going to use the paintbrush jars. A lot of stuff prepared in advance. I'm going to start from the bottom and work up as far as paper goes. We have paper tray ink. This is their fine linen cardstock. We're going to do an A2 10th size card, which means just stands up like that. 4 1/4, 5 1/2. Then I went ahead and broke out my Die-Namics by My Favorite Things, because I'm really into the paper piercing stuff right now. So I cut this cardstock from My Favorite Things. The color is Hot Fudge, and this is Blueprints 15, and I used this whole border right over there, and you can see how it just cuts it down perfectly. It's a big help to me. Then I went ahead and grabbed some die cuts with a view. It's called the Timeless Type Stack, and I cut this down about a little bit over 1/8 of an inch because I wanted my little piercing things to show there. Then I went back to Blueprints 15 and cut out this wonky looking square onto My Favorite Things craft cardstock, and then I turned around and embossed it with this new large polka dot folder by Stampin' Up. So that's going to go on there somewhere. Again, this is paper tray ink, fine linen, and I got this shape from Blueprints 13, and it's this one right here. Next thing I did was turn around and grab some Hot Fudge cardstock again from My Favorite Things and whipped cream, and I die cut these with the pierced circle stacks that they have. And here you can see the little pierced outline to the die cuts. I just think it looks so cool on a card. So that's how our card's going to be sort of kind of semi-set up. I just wanted to tell you what was on there. And so let's go ahead and get stamping. I want to get my sentiment out of the way because I think I might sew, but probably not, because I have other stuff over here on the side that I want to use. Now with rubber stamps, 9 times out of 10, I have to use my Stamp-A-Majig or else it's just not going to work out. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted. I'm going to get it onto my imaging sheet, and then we're going to stamp it onto the bottom of this panel. I'm going to put just a tad of temporary adhesive on the back so it sticks. I am using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I want to get that on there. I'm going to ink this up one more time. I'm going to try and get this down as close to the bottom as I can while it still is centered and it looks good. So I have a lot of panels and everything for a a relatively small piece of paper. This did slip over when I went to stamp it, so I hope it's, yeah, okay. I'm still cool with that. I'm going to lift this up and set it aside so it can dry. The next thing I want to do is, I'm going to grab that, this one right here. I'm going to get this on the block. And then again use the Memento Tuxedo Black. Ink it up pretty good. Then I'm just going to go ahead and grab our whipped cream circle. And this is easy enough for me, I hope anyway, to get right in the middle of this cardstock here. Okay, now it's time to start coloring. This is the Spectrum Noir cardstock. This stuff is white. I have never seen or worked with whiter cardstock before, and I think it's pretty awesome. So I'm going to color this one as well. Now the feel of the cardstock is, it's very smooth. Almost grab some cardstock from a Paper Tray Ink Make It Market kit that was 120 pounds. I'm glad I didn't. Now, since this is their own brand of paper, I'm kind of wondering about the bleeding factor. Yeah, it does go through. So I was talking about getting shading only using one marker before I started having some paper problems. And you just keep on going over the same spot. And then look, right there in the middle, you know, it's lighter. Over here it's lighter because I haven't touched it yet, but that's how you do it. It's nothing fancy. And with this, I don't need it. I think I already did it on this one here, but it shows up an awful lot better on the Spectrum Noir. I'm really going to try and make the Gina K Designs paper work because I want to keep that cream. Wow, so far we're doing okay. Next thing I want to do is go ahead and switch to BT3. I know that B means blue. I don't know what the T means. And now I'm not going to paint anything down there because it's just a jar. And the paint brushes are at the bottom. However, what I do want to do is use this color for the little space in between the brush and stem of it or whatever, the wooden part. And this is why I wanted to use these markers, because I'm just, that's like one dot. That's not even a dot. So this has kind of been a good learning experience. So at least I know with these markers now, stick to Gina K or go ahead and use their own the Spectrum Noir cardstock. I'm going to color that white one off screen just in case I run into any problems. What I'm going to do with the paintbrush is I'm going to do a mixture of, the bottom of them using EB3 and EB8. I don't know what those stand for again. I just know how to use them. So, it's just going to be some quick coloring. That's a little bit darker than what I wanted, but it will work. And the one thing I don't like about having all these paintbrushes is making sure I get the right bottom of the paintbrush, the same color. So I'm going to do this paintbrush, then I'll do another one in the other color that I chose, then I'll do two paintbrush tops or colors of the brushes that I chose, then I'll go ahead and color the rest off screen, because by then you're going to know what I'm doing and I don't need to watch it all. And this was the lighter one too. That's what's scary. That is very, very dark. I'm going to switch colors on this one and I'll be right back because I didn't even want this one this dark. So this is the 3 and I was going to use the 8, and look at the difference in the color. Yeah, let me get a different color. I picked up EB2 instead, and now you can see a definite color difference. Okay, so with this one, I'm just going to go all the way down, and that one comes up here, which is good because I wanted to do 2 big paintbrushes for you. And like I said, I'm not going to worry about shading or, anything like that. Now right down here at the very, very bottom with this color, I think I see a little teeny bleed. And I may go back over this a second time while I'm coloring. Okay. Like I said, right there. Can you see it now? I don't know if that's me or whatever, but we'll see what happens. For the tops of my paintbrush, these colors reminded me sort of my old kitchen a couple houses ago that I loved. And it was a risk teaming them, but oh my god, it was beautiful. My accent wall was rust, and I had white plantation shutters, and the rest of it was olive green, white counters, no, I'm sorry, white cabinets, some had glass, and the granite was a gray, black and silver. It was beautiful. And like I said, it was a risk, but it absolutely paid off in the end. Okay, that's just me going out of the line right there, and I don't like that. With dark colors like these, when you use the, I gotta be more careful. When you use that blender pen to like push the color back in, I always have more of a problem smearing with it than anything else. So this is CR10, and then for my olive color I'm using CG4. Well, wrong. It's not olive, it's more of a grass green. I was going for an olive. But I still think that looks pretty good and bright, and it brings in some color. And I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this colored, and then we'll assemble our card. And now I'm starting to see some bleeding, so we'll see how the rest of it turns out. Okay, ladies, I'm back. I did eventually have to go to the Spectrum Noir specialty cardstock. I'm going to check on their website today to see if they have ivory, and then go ahead and grab it. I have like my little paintbrush graveyard over here, or cardstock, and I need to email Gina to see, and Kim, but especially Gina since she's carrying them. Okay, this is what I ended up getting out of Gina K Designs Pure Luxury. I was doing okay at first, and then it just started to bleed. So maybe not taking it all the way to the line would work. This is the paper tray vintage cream. No, all the way around. It just went everywhere. And this is paper tray is my go-to cardstock for using my Copics on it as well. This is my favorite thing, is whipped cream. It has a respectable bleed to it, so I gotta find out what their secrets are or whatever. And this is how my Spectrum Noir image turned out. While I was not filming, I took the advantage to run it through my die cut machine again and use the colors that I really wanted to on my paintbrush. So the olive that you see here up top is DG4. This rusty color here is CR10. For my paintbrushes, I have EB2 and EB6. My little ring around the jar is BG3. I know that's brown gray 3. And then for the little brush and paint separators, whatever, that is BT3. So I only used 6 markers. And this image was really, now you know why I wanted that brush tip. You really had to have it. So that was like a hard lesson to learn. Let's go ahead and get this thing put together. I think what I want to do is, because I'm going to build it up, you know, foam tape, the whole 9 yards, all that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and put this print right on top of the hot fudge. And I know I used too much adhesive. I don't care. And I need to zoom out. So I'm going to straighten that up. Now I want my little piercing to show. So before I put it all the way down, I got to sneak up top. This is going to be a tight squeeze. My edges are okay. It's the vertical that I'm worried about. Okay, I'm going to keep turning. And I think I have it this time. Yeah, I do. I'm going to go ahead and put this onto the brown cardstock. I'm going to give this one more try. I saw a video on it yesterday. This is like, oh, what is that stuff I use a lot? It's like score tape on steroids. I mean, it's really good. Okay, what the gal said to do in the video that I watched is that you, every single time, you got to move it up and get the tape, and then make sure you hold it up and down, and then just go all the way down, and then flat up, like it's all in the wrist. So I won't do adhesive overkill on this, that's for sure. I'm doing the bottom right now, and then you just quickly lift off. I'll go ahead and do a side so you can see it. So, and I'm not getting any of that the glue balls either. So this stuff, that was my fault because I didn't. This will be fine. Let's start all over. Okay, I didn't move my glue. And go down, hold it up straight, and then just snap it up. And I'm not going to worry about that right now. I was debating on whether or not to put some twine on, but I will. It's just going to be in the next panel. It really should go around this. But I've already put adhesive on. I'm not going to blow it. Okay, there. That's done straight. That's why it was really important for me to have, you know, the cream cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and grab some Antique Linen Distressing by Tim Holtz, because I forgot to go around the corners, and then just rough it up a little bit. You're not going to see it on that dark brown cardstock, so I'm also going to hit up the newspaper layer on another pass through. But again, you won't be able to see it. This is very light, very subtle, exactly what I needed, and it's going to help me out immensely on that white panel that I had to end up putting my image on. So I'm just doing this very loose. All the way around, and adding this to that white panel. I really hope it doesn't trash it. So let's just go ahead and get that done right now. I wanted this video to be short, and it is short, except for the little paper issues we ran into. Okay, this is going to work out. I'm keeping it before the ink it gets to the piercing. So it's really going to accent my card when I put it up against, when I adhere it to the hot fudge cardstock. Because I got a lot of brands going on here. So Gina and Kim, if you're watching, I'm emailing you later today. Okay, there we go. One more panel. Let's go ahead and do this funky wonky panel. And again, that's just going to give it some just a little touch of distress. This panel is going to be put up on foam tape, and this is the one that I do want to tie my twine around. This is a masculine card almost, and I really wasn't expecting that, so If you want a good masculine card, change the image and you've got one. You know, put something golfish or sportish or whatever on the, a football would be great. Sentiment panel over here. I am just going to do the, I need to get that temporary tape off. I'm going to do the bottom of it because I am going to have to cut the top, and I don't know how far I need to cut up yet. Like I said, I love this sentiment. It's just how I feel sometimes. I want to make beautiful things even if nobody cares. You know, I was getting published, and like the first time, my family was like, "Oh, Mom, you're so cool." And then, you know, there on out, 300 times later, it's like, so what? That's kind of depressing. But then they grew up too, and you know what happens when they grow up. Okay, let's go ahead and get this piece down on to, okay, I'm blowing it again, our hot fudge cardstock. I'm so glad that other lady figured out how to do this because I was bummed. I think this thing could survive like a nuclear bomb or something. I shouldn't say those words in videos. I think it was like a decade ago. I made a post somewhere, and it was like really rude. It was when I wasn't working with the, walking with the Lord, and I wrote on a public message board, "Where's John Hinckley when you need him?" About 10 minutes later, I had the FBI at my door. No lie. Scared the crap out of me. I will never do that again. So we'll just compare it to tornadoes or whatever. Where is all this fur coming from? Okay, I do have some room here because, well, just because they're not super close together, which gives you know, your project a nice, I'm going to turn it over so I don't smear it, a nice border. Turning it over also has its own hazards if your work surface is not clean. Okay, we have that done, we have that done. I need to figure out exactly where this thing, okay, I just did, where it goes on the cardstock. Couple options: thick baked brown sugar twine around the top, or I could put some lace and have some baked brown sugar roughly ribbon, but I'm not seeing how the ribbon goes with the paint, so I think I'm going to stick this up like that as far as I can because I've got to get this image in there, and that is not going to work. Okay, we're going to put our image over here. That's going to go up on foam dots. I want my entire sentiment on this card. And okay, got it. I'm going to lay this out like this. And maybe balance it out a little bit. Let's stick the bow over there. Okay, that works. So let's go ahead and get our ribbon tied around here. And this is the new Baked Brown Sugar Thick Twine. I really like it. And I'm just going to cut off a length of it. I really wanted to put it up there, but I'm going to have to find something to stick up there to kind of bring it out in the open just a little bit. Okay, I got to remember I have to tie my bow over this way. I'm going to grab some regular adhesive because I want that just to give it a chance to stick. Okay, then after it gets tied, that is when I will put some of that Scotch 3M foam tape that I'm totally in love with. You can get like $45 rolls at the store. If you have a coupon off, it's, you know, about 30 or so. And that stuff lasts forever. I'm going to go ahead and grab a glue dot. You know, I like to do this when I tie bows, so I can concentrate on tying the bows rather than keeping it straight. Or not straight, but you know what I mean. Messing with this part of it. So I'm going to lay that down right there because I did want the bow on the right. Cool. And no one can see it. So let's go ahead and do, like I said, I do better with bunny ears, and they turn out, personally for me, better that way. It kind of takes some fiddling around to do, but it works. Now see, even though that's a monster bow, it turned out real nice. If I twist it like that, it's going to be perfect. Okay, this goes to this side. And then remember, when you want to play around with it, put your thumb on the knot, stick a finger in between the bow, because that way it doesn't curl on you. And then that way you can get the exact size that you want to. Plus, it remains really loopy, like that one. And I like that. Because I don't want that super, super huge. So I'm going to leave that as it is right now, tails and all, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab what's left of my adhesive. I have another roll, but I don't waste anything. I don't even know if I can get this stuff off or not. Okay, good. That definitely works for me. It's got to go in the garbage though. So I'm just going to cut some strips. Make sure you put one over your thick twine there. And then just adhere away. I'm going to bring back in my card now. You know I have adhesive issues, so I'm not going to explain why I do this. I mean, I know if I have a card that I've kept for a couple of years, a lot of stuff is starting to fall off. So that's why I always make sure I use good quality adhesive on everything. You know, because my kids keep the cards I send them. I don't want them looking at them when I'm dead and they're falling apart. To me, it's like you took the time to make it perfect, and that perfection includes everything staying where it belongs. Alright, I'm going to put this over here. It's just going to be lined up with that print panel, and then I'm going to put it down. Now it's this thing that I really got to mess with a lot. And so while I'm figuring out what to do with this sentiment, because we know our image has to go there, and I'm moving it over to the side. Let's go ahead and stick this up on foam dots too, just in case. I'm going to go ahead and cut the tails of these. They're going to be a bit on the long side. If it's not working out for me, I will go ahead and shorten them. It's kind of better to be safe than sorry. You know what? I am going to keep this down flat. I think it'll just work out for the card for the best. So I'm going to try my hand at this fuse stuff again. Okay, I know I'm overdoing it when I'm like doing the lift up. It's kind of like the bend and snap for adhesive. That's good enough for me. May have to sneak like a little something underneath over on the right. Just a little something to even it out. And I'm going to, you know, because if you push this down, it's going to look really, really bad. And I'm not going to push it down because it will stick, because this stuff is like really, it's pretty intense. So I'm cutting a piece of tape, obviously, a little one, a long one, and then I just grab my little pokey tool Okay, well this is kind of summery. We paint in the summertime. My uncle, he goes out front in the yard, gets all his stuff together. I hate this. And takes it out front and paints. So I'm just going to sneak that right there. Nobody can see it. No worse for the wear, and it evens it out. This is going to be a problem child right here. And if worse comes to worse, I'm going to go back in with this Die-Namic here that I cut it from and do the same thing on top, which will give me a panel, but I really want that to show a lot. And I don't think it's going to, but at least the bow will. And you can still see the polka dots and everything like that. And I think it'd be very pretty if I did go back in and grab that panel and do the other side. It would just give it some nice continuity. So I'm going to get this baby up as top as I can. There we go. See, that looks nice. So I'm going to cut it, take it over to my Vagabond, get this thing cut up, and then we'll be done with our card. Okay, now that I have my sentiment done, I even sewed. My sewing machine was up here and I could actually find it. So the next thing I have to do is even it up with everything else. And I'm going to get some antique linen distressing and then just go ahead and go around the edges. Now again, this was inked up with Memento Tuxedo Black. Fortunately, I had white thread in my sewing machine. If you're wondering about the label I have on top, go to ranger.com. They tell you to punch it out with a 3/4 inch punch. No, do the 5/8. You get a perfect fit on top, no white space, and it doesn't hang over like it would if you went to use 3/4. Anyways, that's my experience. So I have that all inked up now. I'm going to go ahead and bring my card back in. I did put some adhesive on the top of here. I was going to say I wish I moved my circle down further, but it's as down far as it's going to get. I'm going to have to double up on the adhesive. And I ran out of that roll. Fortunately, I have another one. Tomorrow, I'm doing a flower for you, and I'll have the flower done first. But there was something that Katie Sims did to her flower that I want to show you that just really knocked it out of the park and took it way up there. Okay, I'm not caring what this is covering at all. I just want to get it on, and if I have to go to a third layer of adhesive. Oh God, you know what? I put the entire thing on upside down. That is fixable. I'll show you how. What a day. Okay, I'm not going to press down all the way. I just want to see if that works, and it does. Now I'm going to press down all the way. I'm not going to do anything. Yeah, I should. I want to put something right there in the middle. So I'm going to cut a piece like this, and then what I'm going to do is pull the top layer of tape off. I'm going to put that directly on top of it. Then pull the whole thing up. I'll have an exact cut. Then I'm going to lay my tape back down, and it's not going to hurt a thing. The only thing I'm going to do is just maybe snip it a little bit. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take all that off. And then I can just lift this up and sneak it right under here. It's, okay, look, I got the string I got to deal with too, okay? So I'm going to butt it up right against that. I did not need double tape right there. Luckily I did not put it down all the way, because I don't like how it's flipping up like that. I mean, I kind of do a little bit, but I just prefer it to lay down easier. Okay, one more piece of tape. I'm going to see how this goes. Why does this stuff always happen to me? Again, I'm not going to put it down all the way. Okay, if anything, I want to move it up closer to the ribbon or the twine. Then I am good, because you don't have all that lumpy bumpy stuff in there. So here is our card. I like the way it turned out, despite it being upside down. Oh my gosh, I can't get over that. What you do to fix this? I'm going to do it off screen, okay? I can't do anything. Is to cut this end off, alright? But what I'm going to do is cut it right up against that. If I had my guillotine trimmer, I think I do, it'd be much easier to do, and then just layer this on top of another piece of fine linen cardstock. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move everything over here, and I'm still working on yesterday's supply list because it's so much. And then keep this over there, and oh, finishing touch that I thought would be really, I got a couple of them actually. I'm not going to put them on though because I have to take everything off. I thought that a little clothespin over here somewhere, because I need some place to sneak it into. No. That might look kind of cute, like right there, something like that. And then I just have a little bit of bling right here to help incorporate the color a little bit more. So I think I'm going to do that, and I will do that after I turn everything upside down. Oh gosh. Anyhow, this is our card today. I like how it turned out. I hope that you do too. And your challenge, make something artsy like that has to do with art, or something. Make sure you pay attention when you put your card on, unlike me. And basically just have fun. I almost wish I didn't put down that one there because it looks kind of weird right there. If I lift it up a little bit, it might help. I don't want to start bending my cardstock. I'm leaving it. I've kind of had it with this one anyway. You know, when you mess with something for so long, it's like, I'm done. That's it. So I'm going to fix this, get some good pictures for you, and again, I will see you tomorrow, okay? I plan on getting everything up before noon, because nothing ever works out for me the way it's supposed to. So God bless you. Have a great day. And once again, thank you for visiting me. The challenge will close midnight, July 15th. Play for some prizes and tell your friends. I never give away chintzy prizes, and everybody knows that. So have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.